Yeah, John?
Can
Thank
you make
you.
me co-host?
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Have you heard about the waiting room policy for to help out with uh, Zoom bombing?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay,
All of the participants will be in the waiting room and either I or you will admit them.
right. And after 5 minutes, we don't, from what I understand now. Hello, everyone. While we get everybody admitted, we'll take a few minutes to get started, and then we'll be covering Windows 10 basics today. Hi, Shirley. Good to see you again. Long time no see.
Yes, it's been so long, I almost didn't recognize you.
Great, great. Hi, Joanne. How are you today?
I'm indoors because it's 90 degrees outside, so I'm looking for programs to watch. I've seen you before. We've been through this before, but I learn something new every time I listen to it.
Great. Yeah, every class has a little something. Sometimes there's something a little bit different because we get questions and people are curious about some things, and I learned something new about what we do and get in Windows as well. And I'm kind of unusual. I use both Windows and Macs and iPhones and the web. I'm not a big Android user, so I'm not, I mean, every Android device is a little bit different, but I mean, they're you can find your way around them, but they're just a little bit something I don't use every day. So I'm not always familiar with things that have to do with Android. Hello, Hannah, Jan, Marilyn, Wendy.
Hi.
Okay. All right. So this is about Windows 10 basics, which sometimes we go into some other things too. So let me make sure that my slide here. Oops, sorry. Let me take care of that. I've got to get a slideshow up here, okay, to make sure I cover things. So I thought I had that set up. Yes, I do. Okay. Let me get that going here. And what we're going to talk about today, Zoom does not look like a good name.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. So maybe we can. I see her photo, but I don't know if that's the right person or not. But we can admit, and then if we have any issues, we can deal with it. Okay. Okay, so let me get my slides going here and we'll get set up and we'll talk about Windows 10 basics. There we go. Sorry about that. Had to go from one class to another here, okay? So Windows 10 basics is about just learning to navigate your way around the Windows 10 operating system a little bit, some of the features that it gives you. And we're going to be talking about some things I'll go over in the agenda. For those of you that have been in classes with me, you know that I'm from Seal Beach. I worked in the tech industry. I enjoy trying to make technology easier for people to understand. For those of you that have your chat window open, and I recommend you do. John is a teaching assistant that's in the meeting with us. He'll be helping me make sure we have any help that's necessary for anybody having any difficulties using Zoom or getting questions answered and monitoring the meeting for us as well. As you know, we're a learning community, primarily focused on adults over 50, but we do allow anyone to participate regardless of age. Ideally, we can see you and your cameras. It helps to If you were trying to get my attention to wave your hand and do things like that, you can request a recording after class at email at the help@getsetup.io. If you're joining by live stream, the best way to participate is to go to getsetup.io and register for a class. They're free and open to everybody. And so these are opportunities for you. And even though we might be mentioning specific products or services, we're not paid to promote them. We're just offering information on them as learning. Shirley, I see your question. Let me go through the agenda and then I'll answer that, okay? Okay, so what we're going to cover today is what Windows 10 is. It's an operating system, but it's something you might not be familiar with. So we're going to cover what is Windows 10. We're going to learn our way around the desktop, the start menu, and the taskbar. These are the tools that are available to you on Windows 10 that make it easy for you to get to things and use it and make it more productive. We will do a little checkup on security and answer questions about that. We'll talk about starting and closing applications and using right-click and the search box and a few other things you might not know that's available. Okay. So let me stop sharing here for a second. Shirley had a question about what does IO stand for? It stands for, if I'm correct, John, it stands for the British Indian Ocean Territory. And the organization that we talked about in the cloud class, ICON, the International Registry that registers IP addresses, they also are the organization that has something to do with registering domain names. And the domain name includes the name a company or an organization might register and something to the right, the .com, .edu, .gov, but other countries around the world have their own domain suffix. And like in France, it's .fr. In Canada, it's .ca. And in the British Indian Ocean Territory, it's .io. Now, some countries make it possible for organizations to use their domain name, even if they aren't in the country. So you can and what happened was that because the .coms were getting used up a lot, some technology companies started focusing in on .io and using that for technology companies. And it just basically is because .com wasn't available. And so it's another top level domain. Little internet trivia there. Okay. So anybody have any specific questions they're hoping to get answered about Windows 10 today? And Zoom, I see you're on Zoom as Zoom. Can I get your real name, please, so that we can check you against the rock, just to make sure we have you as a Get Set Up member? Hello?
I'm not sure if that's Javonda. You should show me though, right?
Okay, great. I just wanted to double check and make sure.
You don't see my name?
No, it says Zoom for
Oh,
some.
no, that's not me there. That's a part of my company though.
Oh,
That should
okay.
say Charles.
Great. Okay. Well,
That
thank
should
you. I
say
just wanted to
Charles.
double check and see who it was, because we I don't know if you're aware or not, but we had some problems with Zoom bombing with some of our meetings, and we're just being a little more careful about who we let into our meetings so we don't get
That
disrupted.
should say Charles. And then you should see, wow.
That's okay.
Okay, I get it.
Okay, great.
That
Thank you.
should say Charles. He's on our company account, so he doesn't know how to change his name yet.
Oh, okay. I'll put Charles in there, okay?
Yep, I was about to do that myself.
Okay, I don't know if we are letting people change their names or not, if we may have restricted that, but if you want to change it, feel free to, okay? Great. Okay, so let me share a few slides with you about Windows 10. Wendy, she discovered she had Spotify on Windows when she launched it. We'll take a look and see where you can find what programs you have on your computer. That sounds like a good thing to do, okay? All right, so Windows 10 is an operating system, and an operating system is a piece of software that is made by a company or an organization or a community. And the popular ones are Windows 10, Macs made by Apple, the iOS operating system that works on iPhones and iPads is made by Apple. And Google makes the Chrome and Android operating system that works on Chromebooks and Android phones. Without the operating system, the hardware is basically a lump. It's like a rock. It has no intelligence. The operating system is what is loaded up on a computer or smart device as soon as you power it on, and it makes everything work. It makes all the hardware functional. It makes the keyboard work. It makes a microphone work. It makes a screen work. So it makes your mouse work. So it makes all of those things work. So it's essential. And operating systems usually include some common tools for people to use, something like a web browser or an email application or some other things that might be helpful for you. But the main purpose of the operating system is to make the hardware function. And applications can use the operating system when they want to, and so that they don't have to understand how to communicate with hardware. So when we use our desktop, we are able to do some things with our computer. And the desktop on your screen is very similar to a desktop on a desktop that you might use physically. There are tools that are available. There's a background. There's areas that you can navigate to get to things. So that desktop has things called a start menu, tiles, a search box, a taskbar, and knowing how to make the most use of those can help you get more use out of your computer. Your mouse or trackpad has a function where you select things typically by left clicking, but you can also do things by right clicking that you might not be familiar with. And so when you right click on things, you'll get options that you may not have seen before. So we'll take a look at what right click can do sometimes. And you have Windows. The name for the Windows operating system came from the term Windows. And when you open up a application and start using it, it opens up a window. And it usually has a little bar on the top that has a little X in it and maybe an icon and a dash. And then if you have another window open, you can have a second one and you can have a third one. And so this having Windows on your desktop is where the term Windows came from for the Windows operating system. There are other types of operating systems that do use Windows, but Microsoft claimed the Windows name for their operating system, and that's where it got it. So we'll take a look at some basic operations: power, search, Cortana, security and update check, using some of these tools on my Windows 10 desktop, and you can follow along if you want, but or you can also request a recording and try things out, okay? So any questions at this point before I start sharing my desktop? Okay, let me start up my Windows here and then get my screen sharing ready, and we will take a look at Windows 10 desktop. Okay, so this is the latest version of Windows 10. Microsoft provides free updates. When you buy your computer, doesn't matter whether you buy it from IBM or Lenovo or HP or other places, Microsoft makes the Windows software that these companies install on the hardware. And your Windows operating system comes pre-installed on your computer. And it has a couple of things that are standard. It might have some icons on the desktop. This is your desktop. It might have, and it has a taskbar at the bottom that shows you some icons and some information. And this is what you're using when you start up your computer. When you start up your computer, as soon as you see the Windows desktop, it's ready for you to do some work with it. And if you wanted to select an application from the taskbar, you could just click on it with your mouse and it will open up an application. Microsoft includes some things here standard in the taskbar, and there are other things that you can add in if you choose to at any time. So the taskbar has the Start menu button. This is in the lower left. And when you click on the Start menu button, it opens up the Start menu. That's when they hear about, oh, what's the Start menu? There's a set of icons on the left that are access to quick things. There's a list in the middle, and there are some things on the right called tiles. So let's take a look at a few of these. Okay, the first thing you'll see is power. This gives you the ability to put your computer to sleep manually, or shut it down, or restart it. Okay. The reason those options exist is sleep is a low power mode. If you have a laptop and you close the lid, it typically puts your computer to sleep. If you have a desktop and the screen dims and it goes blank with a screensaver, that usually means your computer is asleep. And it's okay to leave your computer asleep. In fact, it's a good idea to let it sleep overnight, usually. Because when your computer is asleep, Windows automatically goes and checks with Microsoft's website on the internet and sees if there's updates available. And as part of your Windows purchase, you got the ability to get updates on Windows, and they fix bugs and they fix security problems as well. Okay. Shutdown will actually power down your whole computer. So you may not need to do that very often, but if you were, moving around or you just didn't need to use your computer for a while, you could shut it down and save on the energy. And then a restart shuts your computer down, closes all the applications, but then immediately restarts your computer. And sometimes if you're having a technical issue with your computer or problem you're trying to solve, sometimes restarting it can clean up those issues, because there might be a problem with an application, there might be a problem with the setting, and restarting it closes down Windows and then reinstalls Windows on your computer for you to start using it. So those are the three things about power that you should be aware of. Any questions about powering down or sleeping, or it's okay to leave your computer asleep?
I have a question. I've never used the sleep mode before. I understand what you're saying, but I'm trying to be energy conscious. So does it use a lot of electricity in that mode? I've been just shutting down my computer every night, but I'm open to using the sleep mode.
Well, sleep will really reduce the amount of power your computer uses a lot. Instead of it'll use about as much as a nightlight typically when you put it in sleep mode. It's still not the most power conscious. I mean, obviously, if you shut your computer down, it shuts off all power. But if you have a laptop, do you have a laptop or a desktop, Wendy?
It's a desktop, HP.
Okay, so with a desktop, when you shut it down, it's completely powered off. With laptops, when you shut them down, if you have the charging adapter plugged in, that charging adapter still draws a little bit of power, even if your computer is asleep. So that's the most, a power conscious way to take care of a laptop. But when you shut it down, a desktop, you're shutting down all the power. But it's a good idea to let it sleep, a few nights a week so it can get updates. If you power it down, it can't communicate with the internet and do the updating process that it does automatically. Settings is where you can get into where you might change some options on your computer. If you want to, we'll take a look at security settings. And then you have quick access to your pictures and your documents folder if you want to. And then you'll see, if you're logged in with your Microsoft account, you'll see your name up there as well. So the middle part of the start menu is where all of the applications installed on your computer are listed. So when you have your computer comes with some standard applications like Microsoft Edge, Microsoft News, the Microsoft Store, but any application that is installed on your computer will show up in this list. Okay? And everybody has a little bit different list there. But it's just something that is available to you where you want to see. Now, I'm going to take an application called Calculator. It's built into Windows. And if you wanted to start an application from the Start menu, you would just double click on that application and it'll start it. And it'll open it up in a window. Okay. If you wanted to open up your Edge browser, for example, let's go to Edge. Right here, it's called Microsoft Edge. And if I double click on that, it opens up another window, okay? And you can see how the windows cover each other up here. And so I have the ability to work with these windows in different ways. If I wanted to switch back from the web browser to the calculator, I have a quick link here at the bottom in my taskbar. It looks like I opened Calculator and twice here. Let me close a few of these. Okay, there we go. And if you click too fast, sometimes you open up an application twice. So I can move my mouse to the top of this window where it says Calculator, and anywhere in the middle of where these X and other icons are, and I can drag this window around and reposition it. If I drag a corner, I have the ability to resize it. And so I can resize it. So if I wanted to do calculating while I'm browsing the web, I can resize my windows. So I have two windows side by side. If calculator is a little too big, I can make that smaller, and I can make my browser a little bit bigger. So I can have two windows side by side if I want to. Obviously, if you wanted to have a bigger window, this is getting cut off here. So if I wanted to make the browser bigger, I can do that, but then I block the calculator. But if I just click in the calculator window, it brings it forward automatically. And it shows that there's something behind it with a little transparency effect, but not enough to block my view of using it. Now, if you happen to notice at the bottom in the taskbar, there are links. There's a calculator application, and there's the Microsoft Edge browser application, and it shows you what you have open in that application. So even if I had my web browser taking up the full screen, if I click on this little square here in the upper right, it'll make it full screen automatically. My calculator icon is still here at the bottom, and I can just see what I was last working on the calculator. If I move my mouse over and scroll up, it brings up the calculator app. So that's a fast way to do what is called app switching. So if you're working in email and on a website, if you're doing calculating and you're doing email, you can do these things very quickly by knowing that, oh, I can just go to the website and click on one of these web browser tabs, or I can go back to the calculator right here and get to the calculator very quickly. And it's just a real tool for like, okay, what do I want to get to? Do I want a pen? Do I want a paper? Think of it as like your kitchen counter. When you want to get a spatula, when you want to get a pot, when you want to get a dish towel, these are, you know where those things are and you can get to them quickly. And these are tools that help you get to things quickly on your desktop that make it easier when you're working with Windows. Now, I will tell you that the more windows you have open on your desktop, the more processing power you use on your computer. So if you have a fast enough processor, having multiple windows open is usually no problem. Usually the mid-range computers in the $700 to $1,000 price range, they're more than capable of having multiple windows open at the same time. But a budget computer, something less than $400 or $500, might not work that fast in having multiple windows open. So it's more a matter of your personal style of working. Do you like to have 2 windows side by side if you're interested in doing that, or 3 or 4 or 5? And you can do that. It's just a matter of how fast your computer will handle it.
Bob, I just wanted to share with the class that I opened so many windows on an old computer that the computer had a nervous breakdown.
Well, usually it just freezes, yes, but it could be considered a nervous breakdown too. Okay, so I'm going to close my calculator here. Now, you see it disappeared from the taskbar. So what if I like using the calculator a lot and I don't always want to have to go to the start menu and click on it to open it up? Well, if I right click on the calculator application here, I see some options. I can pin it to start. That will make it a tile in this right-hand side. So let me close this. See, there's no tile for calculator here. But if I go to calculator, right click and pin it to start, it is in the start menu now. The reason Microsoft has this list and these tiles, because there are many laptops that have a touch screen. And so sometimes it's easier for people to navigate around with these tiles, but you can drag and drop these tiles wherever you want to on the right, just by clicking on them and dragging them around. So if there are things you work with a lot, like mail, obviously you could keep it in the taskbar, or you could keep it in the start menu. Once you get it in the start menu, then you can drag it to your desktop if you want to, and it will put an icon on your desktop for that application. If it's something you use often, you just say, I just want it on the desktop. Some people prefer, it's like, rearranging furniture in a room. Some people prefer things on their desktop. Some people prefer them in the taskbar. So it give you all those options to utilize. If you want to get it out of your taskbar, again, or your desktop, right-clicking gives you the ability to, when it's on your desktop as a link, you would hit delete. It doesn't delete the application, it just deletes the icon from the desktop. So those are some things. If I wanted to put it in my taskbar, I would right-click on it from this list, and I would go to more, and then I can pin it to my taskbar. And now it will be here whenever I open up Windows, calculator is going to be an icon in my taskbar all the time. So it's just a convenient way of putting things around that you might want to have in certain places. I'm going to take it out of my taskbar by right-clicking on it and unpinning it from the taskbar. Now, where do you get applications? Obviously, if you scroll through these, you'll find this is where somebody said they had Spotify on their Windows, Wendy. So if you click on the start menu and you go to this middle row here, you should find towards the bottom, the S's, Spotify. If you don't want it, you can take it off. You have the ability to delete any application you want by right-clicking. And if you right-click, you have the ability to uninstall. Okay, that's how you can uninstall an application right from the start menu if you want to. I'm not going to uninstall this now, but that's what if you don't want it, you don't have to. And when you buy a new computer from a retail store or from a brand name, they will probably install a lot of trial software for you to try out. And computer professionals say it sometimes takes 2 to 3 hours to get rid of all that stuff on a computer. And the reason it happens is that Hewlett-Packard and Dell and Lenovo and all these makers, they're buying the components to make a computer from the same places. They're buying Windows from Microsoft and they're packaging it together. Well, they don't make a lot of profit just by packaging things together. So what they do is they offer free trial software or other things for people to try out. And hopefully some people will subscribe to them. And then they make a commission from the company if people subscribe to that. But that's why you get so much it's commonly called junkware that's installed on a computer. But you can just go to the start menu and delete things if you don't want them on there. You can uninstall them. So which raises the question, where do you get something when you want to install it? Well, Microsoft has something called the Microsoft Store. And that's where you can go to Microsoft and find applications that you can download and install on your computer. They have a home, they have them organized by gaming and entertainment and productivity. Microsoft has just, probably one of the best selections of productivity apps, and they have promotions and deals that you can get as well. So you can search these applications. So if you're wondering, gee, how do I get Amazon Prime? Well, if you're looking for entertainment, here's Amazon Music, here's even movies you can rent and buy from Microsoft. And here's streaming applications that you can install right from the Microsoft Store. And the advantage of getting them from the Microsoft Store is that Microsoft keeps track of what you might have paid for something or what you've installed. And it's also more secure than downloading an application from a website if you're not sure of the website. Obviously, if you go to google.com and you're downloading Chrome, it's safe. But if you're not sure of the website, then it's using the Microsoft Store is a great way to take advantage of safe applications. Okay, so there's a few things there. Let's take a look at this taskbar here. The start menu in the lower left, there's a search box. The search box is conveniently set up right on your desktop so that you don't have to open up a search for anything. If you wanted to search for anything, the web, your computer, things that you might want to do, it'll search applications, it'll search files, and it'll search the web. And it'll even search more for you. So if I wanted to do a search here and I wanted to type in pizza, it will automatically go out to the web and search pizza for me. Now it's using the Bing browser so that if I'm using Bing, it will automatically use Bing from search here. If I was looking for a document that I have on my folder, I have a file folder called Follow the Clouds, which is a book my late wife wrote, and I can find it on my computer just by typing in search. When you just click in search, it brings up an option. It shows you top applications. It knows that I used Calculator recently. It knows, just keeps track of that I opened up this folder. I've used settings recently, and I've used the Microsoft Store recently. So it keeps track of things I've done recently. But I can also just search for apps, or just search in my documents, or just search on the web to just type searching, and it'll search. And it even gives you the ability to even search in your photos and videos and your contacts and other things too. So the search tool is really, really convenient. You don't have to go find things. So if you name things really uniquely, like if you give your files a name, it makes it easier to go and find them on your computer. And it'll search whether things are in OneDrive or whether things are on your local drive on your PC.
Could you please repeat how did you go to the search, please?
I'm sorry, Gladys, could you repeat that again? I have a little hearing.
Could you please go back to how do you go back and research to the search?
Oh, do search, sure. I have my mouse cursor is over the search box here. And if I just click here, it opens up the menu, but I can type anything I want to right away. So if I want to say weather in South Dakota, it'll search for that information on the web.
Okay, I got it. I didn't know where you went. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's right on your taskbar, and a lot of people don't.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, that's great. We learned one new thing today. Fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay. And what else do we want to do? Okay, so let's take a look. Does Microsoft have a record that I have Windows 10? Yes, it does. Well, when you bought your computer came with a little sticker on it, okay? And what happens is that your computer maker, Dell, Lenovo, etc., they put a sticker, usually it's on the bottom or the back of your computer case or something. On laptops, it's on the bottom. And that says that you have a license for Windows 10 for that computer. Now, when you usually set up Windows 10 and you start it for the first time, it usually walks you through registering your computer with Microsoft. And that's when Microsoft has a record that you have Windows 10. But you have that sticker on your computer that has a license key number. Well, it's an alphabetic. It's really a long, they usually have like X35799-47296- something. That's what a license key usually looks like. And that means that you are licensed by Microsoft to use Windows 10 and get free updates from Microsoft. That's what it gives you. So Windows now generally when you buy a retail computer, that license key will give you the ability to reinstall it if you ever need to reinstall it. Okay, but if you buy it separately, like if you bought a computer and then you bought a separate license for some reason, you'd want to keep a copy of the email or confirmation or something that has the license key in it. As long as you have that license key, you have got the record that you bought it. And like I say, usually on physical computers, when you buy it, you get that sticker that tells you that you have a license. Okay. Let's take a look at Windows security and do a little update check. There's a couple of ways to get to Windows security. One way is to type it in. Okay, you can type in Windows, and if you want to type in security, it'll bring up Windows security here, and I can just click on this, and it opens up Windows security, and I don't have to go searching for it. Another way to do it is that sometimes on your taskbar, you might see an icon that has a little up arrow. It says show hidden icons, and it has the security shield, and it'll tell you right away whether you need to take any action or not right from the taskbar. If I click on this, it opens up exactly the same thing that I used when I was clicking on when I typed in Windows security. Now, Windows comes with a built-in security software called Windows Defender, so that as soon as you power on your computer, Windows has antivirus and anti-malware protection built into it. You don't need to purchase anything different. Wendy asked that question, and the Windows security comes in. What happens is that before Windows 8, Microsoft did not automatically include a security software with the Windows operating system. And so with Windows XP and Windows 7, people had to install security software right away, or their computer wasn't protected from malicious software. And Microsoft didn't want to get in trouble with all of the partners like Norton and McAfee and others that sell software for security. So, but they still wanted to make sure that people had security right out of the box when they turned on their computer. So they quietly started including their own security software with Windows 8, and then Windows 9 doesn't exist. They skipped it, and with Windows 10. So everybody that buys a copy and has Windows 10 installed on their desktop has security software built in from Microsoft. It's really good. And it gets updated every time your Microsoft updates Windows 10. So it's you don't really need anything else. So if you're paying somebody for a subscription for security, you don't have to. It's just always available if you want to get it from Windows. And a lot of people just don't know that it comes standard with it because they're so used to having to install it from the older versions of Windows. But like I say, Microsoft kind of kept it quiet so that they didn't offend these partners that make a lot of money by selling security to Microsoft users. Okay, that's Windows security. The other thing that's worth checking is Windows Update. So if I type in Windows Update, it'll take me to check for updates. And Windows updates are free. They're included with your operating system. And it'll usually go out and check for updates when you're not using your computer. But when you are asleep, it will usually install the updates. That's why it's a good idea sometimes to just leave your computer in sleep mode. The reason is that when Windows Update wants to update, sometimes it has to restart your computer. And it won't do it if your computer is powered off. It also won't do it if you're actively using your computer, and it won't do it during your active hours. Okay, so if you have active hours on your computer, normally they're set up as 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. But if you want to change it, you can change it, your active hours, just by selecting different hours here. So if I wanted to go to 6, I can select 6, and now it's 8 to 6, but the standard is 5. And so your computer, when it's asleep, before 8 o'clock and after 5 o'clock, if it needs to install an update that requires it to automatically restart, it won't do it from 8 to 5. It'll only do it before or after, and it'll do it automatically. And it's part of Windows. Windows will automatically go out and check for updates to see if they're available all through the day. Whenever you're just kind of like not using your computer, since it's quiet, it'll go and check for the update, but it won't install it if it has to restart. Some updates don't require a restart, some do. And if you ever want to manually check for updates, you can just click on updates. Another way to get to updates is to go to the start menu and go to settings. And then one of the settings options is Windows Update and Security. You can see that towards the bottom here, and that'll bring up exactly the same thing. So there's always a couple of ways. We do a great class on Windows settings that will help you if you want to learn more how to customize things in Windows too. And there's a Windows tips class that's available for you as well that helps you out. And we've got Microsoft 365 and other classes on the applications too. Okay. Some people like to type and some people like to talk. So you know how I typed in pizza? There's a little circle on my taskbar that says talk to Cortana. Cortana is a free application. It's usually there on your taskbar, but it might not be. But if you need to, you can go to the Microsoft Store and get it. But if I click on the circle, it starts Cortana. And I'm not going to do the survey. So Cortana can do a lot of things. It can find traffic. It can do math problems for you. It can translate information, and it can do it by you talking to it. This is the Cortana screen. And so if I click on Speak to Cortana, I can click on it and say, hey, Cortana, find some pizza nearby.
I found 4 places matching pizza near you. There's Valentino's Pizza at 5782 East 2nd Street in Long Beach. It's 2 miles away.
So I can do a search by just talking to my computer, or I can do math applications. So if I wanted to, I had to buy a new bicycle helmet, and you have to measure your head size. And I had took a string, put it around my head, laid it out on a table, and the ruler I had, the tape measure I had was only in inches, and I had to convert it to centimeters. So I asked Cortana, how many centimeters is 22 inches?
22 inches is 55.88 centimeters.
So this is like Microsoft's, version of Siri and Amazon, but it's built into your Windows desktop. So you can take advantage of it anytime you want to, just by clicking on the circle icon and then talking, or you could even type in an answer, a question, and she'll answer. She's there to help answer questions for you if you want to, but you can use it even to start applications, find files, do all kinds of things. Anything you could do with your search box, you can do in Cortana typically.
How do I get it?
If you do not have Cortana, and then I see someone, Hannah has her hand open. I'll get you in a minute, Hannah. Go to the Start menu, go to the Microsoft Store, and then you can do a search for Cortana. You can just do a search in the store for Cortana, and it's an app. I already have it installed, so it'll tell me that I have it on my computer usually. But see, it's free. I can launch it. Yours would say get, and it tells me this product is installed. Let me get Hannah's question, Wendy.
Thank
Hannah,
you.
have your hand up?
Yes. I have an old computer and it has a circle in the taskbar there. It has a circle, and when I click on it, something comes up, but it doesn't stay. How do you get to speak? It comes up, but then it disappears right away.
A window pops up, but then the window disappears right away.
Yeah, like a sheet comes up that says Cortina with a blue circle in it.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't stay.
Well, that sounds like a technical problem with your computer. It could be that in Cortana, because it's voice activated, uses some a little bit more processing power. What I would do, I would restart your computer to see if you can use it after you restart it.
But it's an old computer. I'm at the point where the suggestion is being made that I should give me another one. So
Sure.
It could be that it can handle all that. I don't know. But like I said, the blank comes up with a blue circle in it, but then it disappears right away.
Yeah, technical issues are a little bit more difficult to solve in a training class. So, but it's probably related to your computer performance. Yeah.
Okay.
So
it should have stayed up. It should have stayed up. And
it should stay. If your computer is working right, it should stay. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Let
you.
me get to Wendy's question here. Can I use Cortana to compose emails by voice? Well, it depends on which email application you use. If you were using Microsoft's email tool here, but other email applications like Outlook give you the ability. It's the application you use for email that gives you the ability to dictate. I don't know, you can start an email. So I think if I ask Cortana, hey Cortana, I want to send an email to somebody, it would start it. But I don't know, and so once I'm on Windows, it would open up my mail application, but it depends on your mail application that you use. And Jan says, how does the computer know where it is? Is there GPS? Well, it doesn't quite use GPS. Remember, you might be familiar with something called Google Maps, everybody? No Google Maps and Bing Map. Okay, so what your computer uses is the IP address to help determine where you're located. Okay, so when you log on to the internet and you turn on your computer, your internet service provider assigns an IP address to your computer, and generally it uses that to determine. Not all that many computers have GPS chips in them. Smartphones all do, but there is actually a privacy setting in settings where you can hide your location from. It doesn't know exactly where you're located, but it kind of knows that I'm in a general 2 mile radius of a location because of my IP address from the internet service I sign up with. Okay, let's take a look at one more setting here, one more thing on the taskbar. This icon is called Task View, this one next to Cortana. And Task View shows you a history of what you've been doing. Why would that be? It's kind of like a daytime calendar where you want to see, what did I do yesterday? What did I do before that? Or if you're working on something, say, I know I visited a website yesterday, but I can't remember what it was. Microsoft will keep track of what you've been doing on your computer for the past 30 days. And if you just want to find something, like I was showing people in a Microsoft store class where to find themes, that's on the settings class we do. I was working on a document, I was working on another document. So it shows you things you've been doing for the past 30 days, if you're interested. And there's a little slider bar that lets you see things that you've been working, just not in your web browser. It's kind of like a web browser history, only it's for your desktop. It keeps track of things. And if I want to get rid of it, I just click anywhere on the background image and it gets rid of it for me. Let's take a look at our desktop. If you wanted to do
So
something.
Bob, excuse me.
Yeah.
If you don't have that on your toolbar, does that mean you haven't done anything in the past 30 days? I mean, is it automatic or?
I don't know if it's automatic, Jan. Let's see if I can right click on it. So I think it's part of, if you right click on your taskbar, anywhere in your taskbar, you will have an option, and usually the defaults, and John's, I think, correct on this, he's helping me in chat, is it shows the task view button or shows the Cortana button. So if you right click on your taskbar, anywhere on your taskbar, you have the ability to bring up this menu that but sometimes just by clicking on show Cortana or clicking on, if it's not checked off, it won't be there. And because Microsoft lets retailers kind of customize their windows when they sell the products, it gives them the option to show different things there.
Well, I don't have it on mine, so I was kind of curious about that.
Yeah, if you just right click anywhere in your taskbar.
Yeah, I did that.
And you don't see a show task view button
No.
in the menu. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's standard, so it might be something where if you want to go to task view, I think it's usually built into Windows. I don't think it's something you can download. If you also do a search.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Task view, and it'll give you the task view shortcut here, and might give you the ability to access it that way. Okay, so it'll explain a little bit about it.
Okay.
It's usually standard in Windows, but some manufacturers customize their Windows desktop. Let's take a look at at the desktop itself, if you ever wanted to change the picture on the desktop, you can actually just put your mouse anywhere on your background picture and right click on it. It brings up a menu. Right clicking is a way to get a menu that is context sensitive. It's going to be something that you can access. And so under display settings, I have the ability to adjust my display, how big it is, how big icons are, or I can personalize it if I wanted to personalize it and change the background picture if I want to. So as long as you have a picture on your computer, you can browse anywhere on your computer's files and select that as a picture if you're interested. And Microsoft even includes things called themes that we go into in Windows settings that help you out. Now you can see my Edge browser has still been open all this time. So if I want to go back, I get a little preview by hovering my mouse over it. And just by clicking on it, it brings up the browser window I was looking at. But typing in search here is the same as typing in search on your Bing browser. Now, the search here will use Bing. It won't use Google. So just keep that in mind. It's always going to use Bing. So these are some tools to help you navigate around your Windows desktop to give you some information that would help you be able to access it and do some things. If you're ever wondering where do you get help on Microsoft stuff, there is an app called Get Help built into the start menu. And it's not personal help, but it will take you to things on Microsoft's website and artificial intelligence help that will help you get resources. So whenever you have a question, just go to the Get Help app that's built into Windows. It's a great resource because there's probably about 10,000 things you can do with customize with Windows, and we've just covered about 10 of them today. But you know, it's a learning process, and it's more a matter of customizing things that might be helpful for you in using your Windows system.
Could I ask a quick question?
Sure, Jan.
Okay, so I have iCloud and all my other products, I have like mostly Mac products, but I have iCloud on my phone. And if I want to do once I connect it to my HP computer, does that automatically attach? I mean, I saw your icon for iCloud in the start button.
I
Or do
would
I have to do something active to?
The best way to get iCloud working on a Windows computer is to go to the Microsoft Store. I think it's in the Microsoft Store. It might be in the web, but and you can actually download iCloud. I don't know if it's here. Let me see if it fits here. I think so. Yeah, iCloud is an app in the Microsoft Store. And so you don't have to physically connect your phone to your computer.
Okay.
And what it does is it keeps your photos, videos, mail, calendar, and other important information up to date and available on your Windows PC.
So that could be under my start button, but then I could drag it to the desktop.
Right, right. Once you have it installed, you can right click on the application and it'll ask you to log into your iCloud account, but it'll be iCloud on Windows from then on. You don't have to physically connect it with a cable. It just goes out to the internet.
Yeah, I already have it, so I guess I just didn't know it. Okay.
Okay. And
Thank
Hannah,
you.
you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, I don't even know where it is. I just clicked a while ago, but it said tablet and tablet use. So I'm saying, oh, what's this? You know, tablet on the Windows? Is that some option that you have using Windows?
There are some Windows hardware devices that do have a touch screen.
Uh-huh.
So if you can buy a laptop with a non-touch screen, or you can buy a laptop with a touch screen. And if you have a laptop with a touch screen, you can use it like a tablet.
Okay, like I said, it's an old computer, but you're guiding me through all the different parts. And now I bumped into that where it says tablet
Yes.
and a whole thing on tablet. So I thought, oh, but I have a little tablet, so I didn't know that the PC could connect up to that as well.
If you have to have the hardware that supports it. That's all. Okay, so let me
Okay.
wrap up because we're almost done here. Okay. Windows
Thank you.
10 is Microsoft's operating system. Virtually all Windows computers come with it pre-installed. And your desktop has icons. You learned a little bit about using search and some other how to find apps. If you're looking to learn more about using Windows, the Windows 10 settings class is a good one. The Windows 10 tips class is a good one. OneDrive is a good class for you as well. I do a couple of classes on Windows and Word, Microsoft applications. I use Macs, Windows, a lot of things. You get an email after class with some class notes, some suggestions, the opportunity for some feedback. When you book classes now, you can invite a friend at the booking. If you're interested in getting anything from Get Set Up, the email is help@getsetup.io. That's where any question you have about Get Set Up can go there. And if you're interested in hosting an interest group or suggesting a class or getting a session recording, that's where we would help you go. If there would be help available by sending an email there. So thanks, Wendy. You learned a few
A
new.
quick one.
Yeah.
A quick one, Bob. Sometimes when I'm on the email, checking my emails, somehow what I call it, the screen goes very large and I can't see the end. Like I can't, the margin is lost. I can't get to the end, and I know there's more out there, but some it gets so large that I can't, and I don't know what to do to make it back normal.
Yeah, unfortunately, each email application has its own way of adjusting how large things are on the screen. And so there might be a setting in there that is adjusting it. So that's something to take a look at display settings and see if that's but otherwise it's probably going to be in your email application, whatever you do for email. Something where customizing your screen, the Windows settings class goes into a little bit of that, but also depending on what you use for email will affect how your email appears too. Okay, well, thank you all for coming today. And if I see you again soon, that'll be great. Thanks for your questions and participation and making the class interesting. Thanks, John, for sharing things with us and helping out with the meeting and making sure it all ran smooth. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Have a good day.